This is 3D printed. There you are, welcome back. Like I said, this insane giant tentacle sculpture is 3D printed. I'm gonna tell you how it was done and how they were able to make this here at Daniel's Woodland. Twin brothers Ron and John started the company 25 years ago making custom tree houses. Now, they are a full-service theming company, making some of the most iconic attractions at your favorite destinations. With over 40 employees, the creativity is endless at Daniel's Woodland.
How you doing?
This is my buddy Chad.
Good to see you.
He does a lot of things here at Daniel's Woodland, and we're gonna get into that in just a little bit. But right now, we need to find out just how this massive tentacle structure was 3D printed. Can you take us through the process?
So basically, in a nutshell, what we have here is each of these have its own steel structure, tubular steel. Everything was basically built on the way up. So we couldn't just do the entire steel as one piece.
Okay.
So what we've done is we built the steel, and then we basically sleeved a 3D print, you know, a section of it. So we were building it. We could sometimes get a 4-foot section if there's not a lot of curve here. This is, you know, probably all one piece there. So we went the massive at 1800 for this, just because of the scale. So we're not after the really, really fine detail. We're after the overall detail.
The massive, I know, can do incredibly large 3D prints, but when you have a steel substructure, if there's a lot of bend and twist, you can't always just corkscrew something onto it, right?
We wanted to build it and fill it with foam. And what that's doing is that's actually marrying the steel with the 3D print on the outside. So it's it's taking up the air there.
Just a urethane foam, I would
Just
imagine.
the urethane expansion foam.
Okay, so you've got a steel substructure, expansion foam, all of these 3D prints, and you slide them all into place and get them set. I mean, but there's a lot more work that's been done here. What is next?
So after we were confident that this is the direction that we needed to go, we took it over to our polyurea booth, and we sprayed each of these tentacles with polyurea.
Polyurea being?
It's like most people identify with the bed liner.
Oh, in a truck.
In a truck.
That must add some strength.
Absolutely.
To it?
Abrasion, crack resistance, everything. Anything we can kind of get to encapsulate that 3D print. Basically, that's what we're after.
Or it's the same reason you would do it in a truck: abrasion resistance, crack resistance, and
absolutely.
And being
so
time,
essentially,
longevity.
what we were doing with the 3D print is actually just creating a shape. Is all we were doing. A shape to fill with steel, with foam, and then protect. And then after that, a lot of airbrushing. Yeah,
Lots of airbrushing, I would imagine.
Yeah.
It looks spectacular. This is amazing.
This has definitely been a good success and a good illustration of what a large 3D print can do.
I do like this. Well, you said pieces, so you've got other things to show me, I bet.
I got something to show you.
Let's do it.
All right. This is redwood, and it is about, I'm not sure this one, but we have it as old as 3,000 years old.
That's
and these
pretty
are
old.
taken from trees that are already fallen, so we don't go and harvest anything. So basically, we're cleaning out anything that's been requested.
Oh, so it's like reclaimed or rescued?
Absolutely.
Okay.
We'll call it rescued wood.
Rescued
Absolutely.
wood, I like it.
So from there, what we're doing with Disney is we're turning them into some of their one-of-a-kind Mickey Mouses and Minnie Mouses and Jiminy Crickets, you name it. We're kind of covering the gamut with all
Disney
that.
characters.
Yeah, Disney
For
characters.
Disney.
For Disney.
You're making product from this wood.
Absolutely.
Okay, well let's...
So what we have here, it's pretty rough cut, but from the CNC that we're using, that you've seen, this is basically our buck. This is the rough, and what we'll do from here is we'll refine it.
And then from there, this gets cleaned up and stained and sanded, and it looks like a product. And
100%.
it's a product that is sold at Disney.
Yeah, so Disney has several gift shops, as you're aware. Disney World, Disneyland, I think is where we're at so far. But if you go there, you can find one of our pieces here.
Oh, so that's the finished one, right?
This is the finished one, yeah.
Now, how much work is it to go from a buck, essentially, to a product? Like, this is not just, this is a product. Like, this is packaged, and if you go to Disney properties...
It comes with its own number, it comes with a stamp, it's been authenticated, I should say.
It really looks incredible.
Yeah,
and it's
then
not
there's
just Mickey's, right?
no. We're Haunted Mansion's kind of a big thing if you're familiar with Disney. We'll do the Ghost, the Hitchhiker Ghost. So we have a little line of that. We also have the Haunted Mansion plaque. We have, and then other Disney characters, of course, too.
The CNC machine, it looked pretty special because I got to see it earlier,
Right.
and there were multiple things happening all at once.
Sure.
It can do multiple things at a time?
Well, what it'll do basically is it'll run one program, and it essentially has 5 separate CNCs that are running that same program. Basically, it's just a multiplied machine.
Well, like with anything, whether it's any part of digital fabrication where there's a raw material being converted into a shape, typically for an end-use product, especially an artistic product such as this, you need to put a lot of human time into it to get it to that spot, right?
Yeah, and dealing with a natural thing like wood, well, you're going to have defects in the wood and stuff that maybe it may throw it out the window, like we can't use that, or we may have to repair it a little bit. So there's always some handwork that has to be done. You can't just send them this, basically.
Projects like this do need the work, but it's relatively small compared to the larger projects I've seen here at Daniel's Woodland,
Right.
including one that I think you're working on now. Is that right?
Absolutely. You want to go check it out?
I'd love to see it.
Let's do it.
This is a dragon.
Absolutely.
Tell me about this.
Well, this is printed with our Massivit 1800 Pro.
All in one piece?
All in one piece.
Yes!
Yeah, we didn't have to glue teeth or horns or anything together. So it was basically printed, I believe, something like, no, it was like this.
Like that?
Yeah, we had to print it somewhere in there. I can't see all the striations.
That's all right. You almost poked my eye out.
You'll shoot your eye out, kid.
It looks like it's in between stages of finishing work.
Yeah, what we're doing here is actually added a coat, and the coat is getting rid of those fine little ridges that you have, inherent with 3D printing. What that does help fill that in, bridge the gap, so to speak. And then, of course, we're going to get some runs and everything like that. So those need to come out. And then the primer is basically to help you see that. Because those little runs are clear, tough to see. So when you get a gray, consistent, flat color, those things stand out really nice. And then once this is all body worked and sanded, what we're going to do is we're going to create a bronze look for it, and we're going to use it like a statue. Ooh. So then eventually it'll be kind of hanging like that, and then in its mouth we're gonna create a loop, and it'll put a little sign there.
Oh, what's the sign going to say?
I'm not sure yet.
Okay.
Not sure yet.
I hope it's something cool.
It is. Everything we do here is cool.
I love that it was done in one shot on a 3D printer, that Massivit machine. And I love how you've mentioned tinting the resin. I didn't even think about that, but if you do that, it gives you a better look at it, and you know where it's been, and gives you the
the first time I did it, I was frustrated because it was hard for me to see where I've been. I mean, you're doing the light, trying to get the gloss, trying to pick that up, and I said, you know what, let's just tint it. And that way I know where I've been, or actually more importantly, where I've missed.
I have one more idea. Do you trust me?
I don't know.
Trust me.
Yeah.
Hey, Chad, put your hand here.
No, why?
No, trust me, put your hand there.
What?
Do it.
All right. Joel!